Minasan, the other thing I would like to talk about today is a little bit more information about the particle mo. So we talked about the particle mo back in chapter 2. Mo is a particle that means also. So we have some situations like this. Yamamoto-san wa gakusei desu. Yamamoto-san wa gakusei desu. So Yamamoto-san is a student. Tanaka-san mo gakusei desu. Tanaka-san mo gakusei desu. So Tanaka-san is also a student. Yamamoto-san is a student, and Tanaka-san is also a student. That's how this particle mo works. We can also use mo in sentences that are more complicated than just these very basic sentences. For example, 本があります。本があります。I have a book. 時計もあります。時計もあります。I also have a watch. So, 本があります。時計もあります。I have a book, or there is a book. And I also have a watch, or there also is a watch. So I can use mo in this sentence, even though it's a sentence with a verb. I will just take the ga out and replace it with mo. How about this one? ハンバーガーを食べました。ハンバーガーを食べました。とんかつも食べました。とんかつも食べました。So, ハンバーガーを食べました。とんかつも食べました。I just get rid of the o and replace it with mo. What do you suppose the meaning might be here? So, I ate a hamburger. I also ate tonkatsu, a pork cutlet. So, just taking out the o and replacing it with mo in the second sentence. So, I can use the particle mo in any one of these situations. So, Yamamoto-san wa gakusei desu. Tanaka-san mo gakusei desu. 本があります。時計もあります。ハンバーガーを食べました。とんかつも食べました。So, mo meaning also or to can replace any of the particles wa, ga, or o to mean also. Yamamoto-san is a student, and Tanaka-san is also a student. I have a book, and I also have a watch. I ate a hamburger, and I also ate tonkatsu, a pork cutlet. The particle mo can replace any of these wa, ga, or o. Now let's take a look at another situation. 月曜日にクラスがあります。月曜日にクラスがあります。水曜日にもあります。水曜日にもあります。So I have class on Monday, 月曜日, and I also have it on Wednesday, 水曜日. So I use ni, and then in the sentence with also, I use ni mo. Let's take a look at another scenario. So, スーパーで買い物をしました。スーパーで買い物をしました。で、本屋でもしました。本屋でもしました。 So, スーパーで買い物をしました。本屋でもしました。I did shopping at the supermarket, and I also did it at the bookstore. So, で in this first sentence, でも in the second sentence. So, as we can see from these two scenarios, when we have other particles like ni or de, we add the mo after them. So instead of getting rid of ni and de, we keep them and we also add on mo. So 月曜日にクラスがあります。水曜日にもあります。スーパーで買い物をしました。本屋でもしました。So I have class on Monday.And I also have it on Wednesday. I did shopping at the supermarket. I also did it at the bookstore. So, ni mo and de mo. So, now that we have mo in a lot of different places, what gets a little bit tricky is where in the sentence we should actually put the mo. Like, what particle we should add it to or replace it with.So, when we say to in English, we can put it in a lot of different places in the sentence, and we kind of rely on context to figure out which one we're talking about. But when we use mo in a sentence, there are like specific places in the sentence where it needs to go. So let's take a look at an example. So, 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。So this is a sentence with a lot of different elements in it. We have the person who did something, the time when they did it, the place where they did it, and what they did. So the person who did something is me, 私. The time when I did it is 火曜日, Tuesday. The place where I did it is 図書館, the library.And what I did is study, 勉強しました. So, if we want to add on a sentence telling about someone who also did this action, or another time when I did this action, or another place when I did this action, I'll use the particle mo. But where I put the particle mo is going to depend on what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at an example. So, 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。たけしさんも火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。So I studied and Takeshi-san also studied. So I find that an easy way to keep track of where you're supposed to put mo in the sentence is to compare your first sentence to your second sentence where you're putting the mo into and see which one has words that are different. So we'll take a look at these. 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。たけしさんも火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。So, 勉強しました、勉強しました。These are the same in both sentences. 図書館で、図書館で。This is also the same in both sentences. 火曜日に、火曜日に。This is the same in both sentences. 私は、たけしさんは。That is different in both sentences. The one that is different in the two sentences is the one where you want to put mo after. So, 私はたけしさんも. Let's look at another scenario. So, 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました. Now I'm going to add on 木曜日, Thursday, as another day when I studied. So let's take a look. We have 勉強しました、勉強しました. Those are the same in both sentences. 図書館で、図書館で. those are the same in both sentences. 私は, 私は, those are the same in both sentences. So none of those are places where I can add the particle も. But 火曜日に, 木曜日に, these are two things that are different on Tuesday and on Thursday. So I want to add the particle も after 木曜日に. So 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました. I studied at the library on Tuesday. And 私は木曜日にも図書館で勉強しました. I studied on Thursday as well. Okay, how about this next one? So I'm adding on some more information. I'm adding my house as a place where I studied. So 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。私は火曜日に家でも勉強しました。How do I know where I should have put も? So 私は this is the same in both sentences. I can't put も here. 火曜日に same in both sentences. I can't put も here. 図書館で家で See, that's different. So I can put も after 家で. So 私は火曜日に図書館で勉強しました。I studied at the library on Tuesday. 私は火曜日に家でも勉強しました。I also studied at my house on Tuesday. So, in other words, whenever we have two sentences like this, and we want to use も in the second one, we should put も with the part of the second sentence that is different from the first sentence. 私はたけしさんも火曜日に木曜日にも図書館でうちでも. So let's practice with a couple of examples. Here are sets of two sentences. You can pause the video if you want a minute. See if you can make a sentence where the first sentence and the second sentence are together. The second sentence has も in the correct place. Okay, let's check these together. So I went to the bookstore. I went to the post office too. Let's start by talking about I went to the bookstore. How can we say it in Japanese? So 本屋に行きました. 本屋に行きました. Now, how do I say I went to the post office too? 郵便局にも行きました. So 本屋 and 郵便局 are what are different here. Bookstore and post office. So 本屋に行きました. 郵便局にも行きました. Let's try the second one. I have class at 9:30. I have class at 1:30 too. So 9時半にクラスがあります. 9時半にクラスがあります. 1時半にもあります. 1時半にもあります. So 9時半 and 1時半 is what is different between these two sentences. So this is the place where we want to put にも. How about number 3? I study at home. I also study at the library. So うちで勉強します. 図書館でも勉強します. So the home, うち, and the library, 図書館, are different between these two sentences. So うちで図書館でも is what I want to say. Okay, so that's a little bit more information about how the particle も works in Japanese. See if you can use this information to answer the question below.